Good evening. Sorry, I grew older while waiting for Justin to be served. Thank to all of you who month after month, year after year, offer your presence, commitment, and dedication so that the flame of the desire for justice keeps on burning. I am grateful to all of you for allowing me to share with you some reflections ahead of the celebrations of the International Day of Remembrance and Commitment in memory of the innocent victims of the mafia, which will fall on the 21st March. The International Day of Remembrance and Commitment in memory of mafia's innocent victims comes in Italy to its 28th edition, while we are celebrating it here in Malta for the 5th year. Moreover, today, we honor for the 65th consecutive month the memory of a Maltese hero who rightly entered the official list of innocent victims, but who we would all prefer to have here at our side. To keep disclosing unpleasant truths fearlessly. In recent years, mafias have also expanded and taken even more root throughout Europe, changing their action patterns, in some cases becoming more hidden, but more invasive and dangerous for our communities, our democracy, and our economy. In fact, we cannot think of organized crime as a circumstance that affects distant lands or an imported phenomenon. Organized crime is and has been fully local and structurally established in the centers of power. Just like a corporation, it links with entities from other geographies and industries. Hence, action against mafias and corruption is an action that must always seek innovation, being capable of reading the complexity of the present times, looking at the roots of history and at the future of freedom we want to build. The path towards the 21st March has developed through initiatives carried out in particular and traditionally in Italy, but also throughout Europe, Latin America, and Africa. This includes spaces for reflection, study, and debate of living relationships around the families of mafia's innocent victims, people who have suffered great wounds that we can all contribute to alleviating, building a common memory based on the story of those victims. Reading the names of those who perished under the fierce violence of mafias, spelling them carefully, is a way to remember those men and women, girls and boys, so as not to kill the ideas brought forward, the example of those who fought the mafias openly and who did not give in to the threats and blackmail that required them to withdraw from their professional and civil duty, but also the lives of those who, unaware, found themselves in the trajectory of a bullet or fell victim of powerful explosive directed to others. Vibrant stories of life, passions, sacrifices, love for the common good, and affirmation of denied rights and freedoms. It is a day that represents, for Libera's network, a point of arrival and restart, to also restate loud and clear that organized crime and connivances with the deviant politics, economy, and Freemasonry exist and poison our society. It is the moment to remind us that in isolation, mafias kill. They thrive in the void. They take advantage of neglect. For this reason, we must come together and strengthen our sense of community to channel the energies of those who want to commit themselves to the preservation of democracy, to the construction of horizons of social justice against mafias and corruption. Our goal is to engage the entire civil society with international connections in Europe, Africa, and Latin America, thanks to the collaboration with representatives of governments and civil society. It is possible. The slogan of this year's day seeks to lead us to reflect on what each of us can do for the affirmation of rights and social justice. The word possible derives from the word power and denotes what can be achieved, what can happen. At a time in history when we are facing many challenges and disruptions with the environmental, social, and economic crisis aggravated by the pandemic and the international political vulnerability caused by the war, we have the duty to show the way together to each other, to remind each other where our commitment can and must take us. Today we find ourselves on a dark path. where sometimes there are not even stars to guide us. But if we all become aware of this path and why it has become dark, we can cross it and overcome it to reach the dawn of the necessary change. This is a difficult time of crossing in which it might seem to us that the old maps no longer serve to find our way. It is a complex time that requires us to rise to the challenge, also conceiving new scenarios, connecting different skills and cross-disciplinary knowledge to generate a common strategy from diverse sources. We know that it is possible to overcome this phase if we all commit together. Only with us can peace, justice, truth, rights, welcome, and freedom be affirmed. The action of Libera and the Chance Network is aimed at looking everywhere to see where mafias and corruption lurk, even when they hide behind ostensibly harmless appearances. It is more important today than ever, in view of the dangerous normalization of organized crime underway, which is unfortunately supported by the recent indicators of perception, as confirmed in social studies. It is more important today than ever to recognize and name the threats. Mafia violence today seems to have decreased compared to the past. At this point in history, we are witnessing a process of hiding of the mafias, of them blending in the legitimate society. Unlike the past, organized crime has chosen a silent underwater strategy because it considers it more profitable. This strategy has also led to less media exposure of the issue and therefore to a decrease in public attention. With the exception of striking events, mafias and corruptions are considered less interesting to the public opinion and politics. In addition, the economic crisis has generated increasing opportunities of collaboration between the business and financial world and the criminal sphere, with the result of thinning the wall between the legal and the illegal and expanding the so-called gray area. In this framework, a growing force of professionals accepts to collaborate with criminal clans as service providers, placing their skills at the service of the production and management of illicit proceeds. This covert, silent, grey area is leading to perceive criminal phenomena as inescapable, just part of the context. The risk is a lowering of the bar of social ethics, the crumbling of the protection wall that allows us to defend the common good against any abuse. What is at stake is the redefinition of the boundaries between licit and illicit, between moral and immoral, according to the principles of an elastic ethic that can be reshaped at will. Our community rejects this fluid ethic and finds new motivation in the memory of the lives sacrificed to the fight against the mafias, for the active construction of a solidarity that allows us to remove, tile after tile, every tiny space of infiltration of the mafia appeal. Thank you.